What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and I've got some more news for you guys today. Check this out. ICE in courts. Oh, is that so? Fed's seizure of a 7-year-old Queens public school student and her family sparks outrage among local officials. So, did you hear that? The feds, right? ICE seized a 7-year-old. As if it was an inanimate object. Like, the left is just, they're really doing everything they can to ramp up the rhetoric. To take people that really don't like Donald Trump, make them hate Donald Trump, and fool them into doing something stupid. I say this all the time, folks. I haven't said it in a while, I think. But the main reason I believe for the hyperpolarization, the hyperpartisanship in this country is mostly the corporate press. And the difference is between people that actually pay attention and read news and don't buy into certain narratives, in other words, or they'll hear a narrative and go and fact check it and then get all the facts and be like, oh, okay, so that's what they were on about. It's just a narrative. They left out a bunch of pertinent information that would absolutely change your mind on something, right? So this is what the left does. That's the difference between the left and right these days. The right seems to pay attention and not just buy into the narratives that will go and actually search for the truth, search for the facts, right? The truth is out there and Bear Jags will find it. Abso-freaking-lutely. Right, if you don't know who that is, go check that out. But anyway, this is the difference, I think. People that will listen to the corporate press, they'll listen to the news and just take everything in and be like, okay, got you. And people that will listen to the news, listen to the corporate press and be like, that doesn't quite sound right. I don't think that's right. And then they'll go and do some research online and find the rest of the story. Let's get into this, y'all. New York officials expressed outrage and heartbreak over ICE's seizure of a 7-year-old Queens girl and 2 of her family members at immigration court last week. As first reported by the city, a 7-year-old Queens public school student, her mother, and her 19-year-old brother were arrested by ICE while attending a legally mandated court hearing at 26 Federal Plaza. It's the first known instance of a child being taken into custody in such a manner at the Lower Manhattan venue. You see how they added all these qualifiers in there. This is the first time a child has ever been seized at this specific place right here. What? Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, of course, this is something new that the Trump administration, you could say that at every single one of these venues. Oh, this is the first time that this person has been seized at this venue, at this time, on this day. Like, of course, like, what are we trying to get at here? Like, they're trying to say, oh, the feds just seized a girl. Okay, so the girl isn't the reason that she was seized. She was detained by ICE. That should have been the word that they used. It was her mother that was detained by ICE, and because the Trump administration is not just cruel and heartless, they're not going to separate that family. If the mother is here illegally and needs to be deported, they're going to send the child with that mother, for crying out loud. Like, these people were railing and screaming and gnashing their teeth about child separation. But you know what it is? When you hear that, oh, they're tearing families apart is what they're doing. But when you hear the reason as to why, right? Like, this is something that was shocking when I found this out, because I heard all this rhetoric about, oh, Donald Trump they got family separation policy going on. Like, what's a family separation policy? Well, come to find out, all these criminal aliens that are coming across the border, there's just so happens to be a lot of child trafficking. A lot of people that come across that southern border that traffic children into our country, into trafficking rings. We'll just put it that way, try to be family friendly. So what did the Trump administration do, right? This is a complete epidemic of this. There's thousands upon probably hundreds of thousands of children trafficked into slavery in this country. So the Trump administration comes in and says, okay, so every single child that comes across that southern border, we're going to take them, we're going to separate them from their parent or guardian or whatever it is, and we're going to figure out if the parent or guardian or whatever it was that is with them, make sure that that child is not being trafficked. Make sure that they are just coming here for a better life, to make sure that there is not a crime being committed. Because when the Biden administration come in, he threw away that policy. File 13, just boom, right out the door. And oh, lo and behold, 4 years later, 330,000 children come across that southern border. That's the estimated numbers of children that were trafficked into slavery. Yeah, that's the numbers. They lost untold numbers of children. I don't remember the exact numbers right off. It's been so long since I covered that. But yeah, that's why the Trump administration was doing what it was doing, to make sure these kids were not being trafficked. And so when you take that in, when you hear Democrats decrying family separation policy at the border, and you figure out why, you're like, hang on just a second. I would not blame anybody for thinking that Democrats are evil. I really wouldn't. Because they're either ignorant or they're lying and they're just being evil. They either don't know why this is going on, or they're evil and they want it to continue. That's the only two possible outcomes I can think from that. They don't know what's happening. They don't know why the Trump administration is doing this. And I would love to go with the latter. Right? But the former, these people are in government. They are in the hearings. They sit there. They hear all the stories. They get all the intel. Right? They have security clearances. They can go into a SCIF, which is a secure room, with no phones or nothing like that, and get a classified briefing. So they know cartel activity and how many children are being trafficked. So for them to try to feign ignorance on this issue is an absurdity. It really is, y'all. It really, really is. But this is so fascinating. They're making this big old deal out of some people getting deported. Yeah, of course, children are going to be deported with their parents. I mean, this is also the inverse of this, right? What would Democrats have Trump do? Keep the child here? Separate the child from the parents? No. What Democrats would have them do is just why not let them stay? Because that violates our laws. And our laws must be applied equally all the way across the board. We don't live in a free country if our laws are not applied equally all the way across the board. It's unfair to some and overly fair to others. I'm just saying. Let's keep going. The young girl and her mother were transferred to a holding facility in Texas, while the teen's son is being held in New Jersey, according to the city report. The trio reportedly hail from Ecuador and entered the country together in 2022. School's Chancellor Melissa Aviles Ramos confirmed that the girl, who attends PS 89Q, the Jose Peralta School of Dreamers in Elmhurst, was now in ICE custody. She expressed heartbreak over the situation while also seeking to reassure anxious parents. You know what I would have to say to that? It's the parents' fault, for crying out loud. Why are you expressing heartbreak because this girl's mom committed a crime and entered our country illegally? Shouldn't you be outraged at the mother for actually committing the crime? But no, it's misplaced rage is what this is. And it's all for show, if you ask me. I don't really think they're outraged. I think, once again, they just want to try to tear down Donald Trump because it's Donald Trump. Did we hear any outrage over Obama's immigration policies? No, we didn't, folks. And that's where double standards come in. And they are heavy on this issue because Obama, at this point in his presidency, deported a lot more people, like 2 million more people than Donald Trump has. Now, I will admit, most of those deportations were expedited removals from people that they caught crossing the southern border illegally. Most of that's what that was. And Donald Trump's, most of his, at least this term, has been from the interior. He shut down the border. There's nobody crossing that southern border to deport. So, it is what it is. But I think Donald Trump's doing a good job. But it's misplaced rage is what this is. This whole thing. They should be mad at the people that committed the crime, not mad at the law enforcement for enforcing the laws. That's ridiculous when you think about it like that. Don't you think? It's insane, y'all. I am heartbroken to share that another one of our students was detained by ICE while attending his immigration hearing. Our Project Open Arms team is standing with the student's family, working closely to connect them with legal support and other critical services, Aviles Ramos wrote in a social media post. To all of our families, please know that our schools are safe, welcoming places, and we remain committed to supporting every student. We encourage you to continue sending your children to school this fall, where they are cared for and valued. Over the past several months, New York has documented ICE in Lower Manhattan's immigration court and the emotional detainments taking place there. Emotional detainments, huh? Which have included family separations. However, this is the first documented case of a child being taken into custody. Mothers are usually permitted to leave with their children unscathed. What do you mean unscathed? And hang on just a second. That would insinuate that they just arrested the girl. But hang on, you just told us that all three of them got arrested, got detained by ICE. One was an adult. They called him a teen. He's 19. Sure, he's a teenager, but he's an adult man. That was the family separation. They kept the adult in New Jersey and sent the mother and the child, the 7-year-old, to Texas. So, what are y'all talking about here? This is very, very standard. Once again, folks, if you go out drinking and driving, and you have your kids in the car, you're going to get your kids taken away from you. This is common sense. We don't blame Child Protective Services, do we? We don't hear these same people decrying Child Protective Services when somebody commits a crime and has to have their child taken away from them. No, we don't, folks. We do not at all. We go after the responsible party. Right? The person that committed the crime. Which the logic is totally backwards on this issue. They have no problems going after Donald Trump for just following the Constitution. That's all he's doing. He's following the law. It's insane. It really is, y'all. Elected officials who represent the area where the family resides say they are horrified by the detainment and the ICE escalation. I am horrified by reports about a family in my district, including a child, being detained. My office is fighting alongside federal electeds and local agencies to get them reunited, City Council member Shakar Christian wrote on X. This is the first known ICE arrest of a NYC child under the age of 18. Family separation must end. There was no family separation. You told us she was sent with her mother to Texas. They are lying now. See, this, once again, folks, this is not the statements from the corporate press. This is statements from the politicians in the area. Proving, right? That's fascinating. Just thought about that, as a matter of fact. The corporate press is proving to you that politicians are lying to you about these issues. I guess they didn't see that one coming, did they? My team has been in contact with those close to the family, and we are seeking more details, U.S. Rep. Grace Meng added. And that's all to that, y'all. This is fascinating. I just love any chance that the Democrats get. Oh, they're going to take something, twist it around, manipulate the crap out of reality, and try to make you feel the same way that they do. They want you to be outraged at Donald Trump. Well, please, y'all don't buy into it. Get all the facts. Look at those facts with a calm, rational mind. Read all the way through. Think about things before you react. Before you get mad and say, oh, Orange Cheeto guy over here is just Hitler incarnate. Yeah, let's not go there. Let's think about what's going on. What is Donald Trump actually doing? Oh, he's just enforcing the laws that are on the books. Once again, if you don't like the laws, lobby Congress to change them. That is what Congress is supposed to do, is work on your behalf. I highly doubt you're going to get them to change any sort of laws surrounding immigration. You know, crossing our border is going to remain illegal for a very, very long time. So, I think that's all I got on this one, y'all. It blows my mind how Democrats will manipulate the crap out of just about everything. Right? They told us at the beginning of the news article that they were all rounded up all at the same time at immigration court, for crying out loud. Right? Like from that headline, it would make it sound like the girl was arrested at school. Where they said, seizure of a 7-year-old. You see how they do that? It's wild, y'all. It really is. Manipulation 101. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. And sign up. Become a member. You know you want to. That would be great, y'all. And always remember, y'all, that God is always with us. And He loves each and every one of you. Just remember that. Y'all try to have a good day. And stay legitical. Peace. Now you saw that. I kind of screwed that up, didn't I?